Hey guys, how you guys doing? My name is Nikia from Thrive at Amazon.com, and today we're about to talk about pure dropshipping. I'm sure all you guys have been waiting for this, but today it's about to go down. Hey guys, so this is just a reminder that if you're interested in dropshipping and you need to be explained further, you want to see results, this is the ebook to download by heading to thrivewithamazon.com. Everything's there ready to go, and you'll be able to download this free beginner guide, dropshipping explained using. So you're probably wondering, for what? What, Nikia? What can you be possibly talking about today? Today we're going to talk about finding products in 2020, dropshipping on Amazon. You're about to find out how to find products in 2020 and what makes a great product. Exactly what type of products are you exactly looking for on Amazon? A lot of people love this idea of dropshipping because you don't have to buy in bulk before you even start. You can just literally start with what you have and buy as you go as customers actually buy from you. So you're not like trying to figure out what products you have to get. Oh, like, should I get this product? And hope it sells, hope to God it sells. Yes, I'm excited too. First things first. So today we're gonna give real examples. Is when you're looking at an item, you wanna look at the rank, the details, because that's very important, the picture, the title, and the reviews. So you're gonna be looking at 5 things. And what you would usually do, or what you would always do, is then you would compare it to the supplier that you're looking at. So in this case, as example, it would be Walmart. So I'm going to show you an example right now of how I would compare 2 products together to ensure that they're the right product. So as promised, I'm going to show you an example because guys, I want you to understand how you would choose a product. So when you're looking at an item, you want to look at the title. So you want to compare it to the supplier that you found to make sure it's the correct item. Now, this is an item that I'm using that I have sold in the past recently. And as you know, the prices will fluctuate. So at the time, this item was $38. And this item was $38. And then we looked at the reviews. And then what you want to do is you then go back. So you don't only look at the photos, because sometimes the photos could be the same, but it ends up being like a different model number or anything like that. Also, you want to look at the height. You want to look at the model number if there's one. The weight can help sometimes, but sometimes it's not always accurate. You want to look at the rank and see. So usually I have a criteria for my team, and I'll be like, okay, this is how much you need to sell. Or this is how much you need to ensure that the item sells. So it needs to be under a certain amount. So this is fairly good. Like I've told you in previous video, if you watch them, if it's a 5-figure range, it's usually will sell, especially if there's really good reviews. So you can see here, for the most part, it's 5 stars, so that's a good sign. Obviously, there's going to be few people in between that doesn't like the item, and that's perfectly fine. Not because someone likes the item means everyone else will as well. So then what you do is you go to Walmart, and then you'll be like, okay, is this the same item? So it looks the same. Like, we'll look at it, we'll look at the photos, and boom, you see the same photo. But then you also want to check everything. So you're looking at the titles. So then we'll go back again, and we'll be like, okay, is it the same title? Yeah, this has a little extra, but it looks fairly the same. It's called the same thing, Cater Echo Cotton chair pads. And when you look at this, let's look at the inches. Let's see if the inches are the same. Okay, so let me see. It was 17 by 6 by 0.63. So though it looks like that, oh, and you see right here, so different dimensions. So this is what I was going to say. So sometimes you'll find an item on Walmart, and believe it or not, this is a marketplace. So if you look at this, it says sold by RC. So basically Walmart is kind of like Amazon, where a seller can go on Walmart and sell their products as well. So Walmart is not just a store where you can buy stuff that comes straight from Walmart. Walmart does the same model. So sometimes people would, I guess, edit the listings, and it'll be on inaccurate or something will be wrong, and so that way, that's why you have to be kind of careful. But in this case, this matches 40 by 60 by 1.6. Sometimes, believe it or not, you'll see different sizes, but as long as you see it on here, it should be the correct one. And push come to shove, if it ends up being the wrong one, you could always return and be like, hey, on the page it was supposed to be 40-inch. Instead I got a 17-inch. But most of the time when you see this is the correct one, especially if it's the same photo. The reason why I say not to look at the photo only is because sometimes it could look the same, but then it may be a different dimension. But in this case, it's the same one because it matches up with the dimension. So this would be a product that you could qualify to add to your store because you're like, okay, it's an absolute same product. It's red. It's a cotton chair pad, and we're on a roll. It's the same item, and it looks like the same item. Everything is on par. After you determine that the product is the right product and it matches out, it's the same exact product, and that's the product you're gonna sell, you also want to look at the profits, because that's the most important part, right? Other than making sure it's the same product. The next part is to make sure that it is profitable. And how I usually do this is I usually use the calculator on the computer. And eventually the idea is that the more you do this, the more better you'll get at it. So, for example, what I would do is I'll usually times it by the 15%. And I usually do other calculations, but let's keep it basic. Amazon usually charges you 15% for when you sell an item on their platform. So you usually have to account that in your price. You do 100 times 0.85, which represents 50% in a different format, or you could do 100 minus 15%, which comes to $85. So then your goal is that the price of your Amazon item has to be always higher than wherever you're buying the product from, whatever store you're buying the product from. So in this case, for example, let's say the item would have to be at least $84 and under. So if, for example, the item ended up being $60, so if you did 85 minus 60, that would be a $25 profit. So that's how you'll be minusing out everything. So you have to keep account of also shipping details. You have to keep an account, like, for example, if Walmart has shipping costs, even taxes. So that's something that you can incorporate in your formula. But for now, this is a basic formula you could use to determine the profitability of this item. So right now, you saw how I compare two items to make sure they're the same. And then you saw like how I calculated the profit. So now I want to show you an example of how this all works, like how I would look for an item. Let's say like from scratch, like how I would look for the item, find the item, test the item, see if it's wrong, right, blue, black, green. You get the point. Alrighty, so first things first, when you're starting to find products, you have to look at Amazon in a different way. So you want to first of all find a category. So what I usually do is I'll go here, and what we're going to do is search the items. So for example, I would probably choose, you could choose home and gardens, you can choose toys and games, sports. There's lots of options to choose here. It's just a matter of what you prefer to choose and what works best for you. You could choose pet supplies, you name it. But I'm going to go with home, garden, and tools because that's usually like a common place most people start off with. And that's where I started out as a beginner. So I want to know that when you're going through this, like you're going to go through a lot of like trial and errors. You're going to go through parts where you're trying to find the items. You're going to go through times where you're not going to find items. And this is one of those things where you have to push through. And you have to keep on going. So a lot of times people will learn this and then they kind of give up like within 1 or 2 days. I could tell you that if I get up in 1 and 2 days, I would not be where I am today. So this is something that you have to keep on going and keep on looking for items and put the time in. So after I choose this, like you can see it, then it starts to gear some more. So I have all these options to choose from. And I'm going to choose kitchen and dining. And what I'm doing is I'm going to choose a category. So in this case, I'm going to choose table linens. Let's just do that. And the more you do this, you'll get to know what items are good based on sales you get, and you'll get to know what categories to go into. So in this case, I'm going to go here. And then what you'll do is scroll all the way down. Because you want to get like the overall place with chair pads. So this is where everything will be. This is just like suggestions and stuff like that, but it's best to search here. And the key is you want to avoid prime items. So example, we're gonna try our first item here. So I'm just gonna put this in a new tab. Okay, so we're seeing that this is sold from a dropshipper, and how I know is if this doesn't say ship and sold by Amazon, it is sold by a dropshipper. And this is not Prime because you don't see anywhere that says Prime, and you want items like this. This is what you want. So we're going to go through that whole like spiel of making sure it's the same product, and we're going to find a supply for it. So we'll go through this. We see this has 2,000 ratings, so you know that this is a really good item. So I'm going to start off with here because this is the app I use, and this is for Invisible Hand. If you want to get that, you can add it on. So what I'll do is I'll just use the first thing that I find here. So you'll see here, it's selling for $71. So let's see who's selling it. So let's just go here. So the thing with eBay, if you're on eBay, and I am going to be coming out with the next video explaining about all suppliers, but the thing with eBay is you have to make sure that you're looking at the seller reviews, and you want to make sure that they have a good amount of reviews. This says purple, but we don't know if it's really from the company. So usually if it has this little reviews, I'll be a little wary, but you could always read the reviews. So let's see what they're saying here, like what people are saying. So this looks like this is the actual company from Purple. So it looks like people are actually getting it, which is awesome. So we'll go back here and then we'll see, okay, what is the item selling for? So on Amazon, it was selling for $89.98. So if we go into a online calendar, so I'm just going to choose an online, not calendar, calculator. So if we just chose an online calculator and we said it was selling for $89.98. Now, if there's a different seller, we would have just clicked to see like the lowest price because you want to make sure you're always the lowest price. So $89.98 times, like I said, you could do 0.85. So that would be $76.48. So if you look at this, this is very close. And that would depend if there's any taxes or anything like that. But if you were to just do this and you do it minus 71, it would be about a $5 profit, which I would take. I usually try to get higher, but in the beginning, I would just take anything and everything to create that momentum because the goal is when you're starting out, you want to get sales. So this is taking into account if there's tax. If there's tax, it may not be $1 or it may not be even profitable. But you want to look at everything here as a whole. On eBay, though, you want to look at the shipping, how long the shipping takes. So you can see here, this is going to take some time. So you want to hold that in account. If it's going to take longer than anticipated, you have to make sure that you let the customer know, or you could go ahead and cancel the items. Go ahead and contact the customer and let them know you may have to cancel it. So you could also look at the other ones and see, okay, what's this low price here? Like, oh, who's selling this for a super low price? So let's see details, like what's going on. So you can see that this is a new seller, so you have to be careful. And when it comes to items, you want to make sure on eBay, it always says like 10 and more available or 9 and more available. So like if you look at this, it says 3 or more available, and which is good, but you don't want something where it looks blank. If it looks blank like that, do not sell it. And usually this could be another dropshipper. We don't know why they're selling it that low. So this could be a potentially one item, but I just want to show you the process. Now, so let's say we find this item, it's either non-qualified or R-qualified, meaning that it might be profitable, it might not, depending on taxes. When you see something like that, though, usually I might not add it on because I usually incorporate the taxes in my formula. But for now, we're gonna go basics. Another thing too is you want to look at details. You want to look at membership, the dimensions, and it did say 2 inches here. This was a 2 inch one. So RP001, and then you want to make sure it's the same one. So let's see. to make sure RP001. So we know this is the same one. The rank is good. The review is good. So you're looking at everything as a whole. You're looking at the reviews, like what are the 2-star people saying? Did they get the wrong item? Because that will give you an idea if this is a dropshipper or not. So once you go through all that, I suggest you don't spend a lot of time on this. If they're not, move on, keep on going. Don't get discouraged, keep on going. This is something that you have to work hard for in order to make do. Like, you have to work hard in order to make something work. Nothing comes easy. And sometimes you may have to go through a lot of items to get to that profitable item. So now we'll move on. So we'll exit out of these. And if it is, you'll save this towards a sheet and then add it on. So now we'll go to the next one here. So I would look at this and I'll be like, oh, okay, this IKEA, it's saying a 4-pack, it's selling for $34. So let's see if this is profitable. And you can see this may be the lowest price. So let's see here, we're going to click here because we want to make sure it's the lowest price. So the lowest price is $34. This is another drop shipper. So you're looking, these are all other drop shippers. And this is the lowest price. This is what you want to compete with. You're not going to compete with anything else. You want to compete with the lowest price. So then what you do is you then take the title and you then put it in your search bar. And you'll be like, okay, what are we finding here? So we see that it's $4 each. So then I would open it up and we'll make sure it's the same item. It looks like the same item here. Usually IKEA is very easy to identify. It's same item. It's called the same thing, Melinda chair cushion. Let's see, 14 inches. Yeah, 14 inches. So we know it's the same item. So ideally, you'll get 4 of this. So 4 times 16 will be 16, and then 34. So let's just do it quickly here. So basically, the idea is you always at the Amazon price. The Amazon price should always be the higher price than your supplier. The supplier price should be always lower. So the IKEA price should be always lower than the Amazon price. Okay, so your Amazon price should always be higher. You want to pay attention to the quantity. And so it's 4. So we know $4.49. So let's do that. So $4.49 times 4. Oops. $4.49 times 4 equals $17. So then 34 times 0.85 equals 28.9. So that might 7 minus 17 be a potential $11 profit. Now you have to account for shipping and all that, but that will depend where it's shipping to. And you could always do a test. What I suggest people doing is adding it to the cart, doing a test and seeing, okay, how much potentially shipping would be. So if you just did example, you then add it to your shopping bag. And then we'll go here. And I know sometimes you could put like a test, like shipping, a test zip code, so you could get an idea of, okay, how much would it be? So you see prices start at $5. So it'll give you an idea. This might be a $5 profit with tax. Who knows? So let's say it was New York. And then you put 14428, for example. Calculate. So you're just walking it through, basically. So about $22. So it might be about $5 profit with tax. Sometimes there's no tax. Sometimes there's tax. And so then it works out to be maybe about a $6 profit. And that would depend on tax if you incorporate it. So the standard tax I usually do as an overall whole, so I'm not saying all states are the same, is 8% just in case. If it's lower, that's fine. So that way it could protect me as a whole. But you see, this is a potential item that you could maybe list. If an item is wrong, or it doesn't match, don't get discouraged. I always tell people move on. Don't be like trying to scratch your head, like trying to figure out why it's wrong. So if you see the title's different, the color's different, the picture doesn't look the same, details different, model number's different, move on. Don't stay too long on an item because time is money, right? So you may get items that are wrong, like they're just not, they don't qualify, and that's perfectly fine. Here are things that you really have to watch out for and avoid when you're dropshipping on Amazon. We all know that we are not perfect. And sometimes you might make a mistake and sometimes you'll miss little details. So example, you want to make sure that when you're listing the item that it's actually the right item. So never just look at the photos and assume they're the same. because sometimes it can have the same photos but different measurements. So let me show you an example. Hey guys, so as you can see here, this is a Voss water bottle, and I just wanted to show you an example of what happens when you don't pay attention to size. So if you look at this, it's called the Voss Still Water, and this was found from Walmart, and this was 11.1 ounces, and everything looked the same, right? If you look between the two of them, it looked ideally the same. The picture looks the same, and this is why I say that sometimes it's not good to look at just the photo. So when you look at this, this is the Walmart title, and it was 11.1 ounces, and this was a 12 count, meaning it's a 12 pack. And then when you looked at the Amazn title, it was 850 milliliters, plastic bottles, but they were glass bottles, and a pack of 12 based on the photos. So when you look at this, so sorry, they're plastic bottles, but anyways, you get what I mean. You get the point. So when you look at this, you could basically see that that they had different metric types. So when you look at this, you might have assumed that it would have been the same, but not so much. So what we figured out was that it wasn't actually equivalent. And then when we researched, we realized that this was actually 28 ounces, and in fact, not 11.1 ounces. So this is why this is something that why you want to pay attention to size. You want to pay attention to the metrics and make sure that you're always converting them, because sometimes it can be equivalent, but you can't always assume. Never assume that it's the right product. And since you're drop shipping and you're not touching the item, this is something that you will definitely have to be making sure of. Let me know if you have any questions at all, and put the comments down below, and I'll be sure to put it in a future video. Enjoy this video, and I hope that you have a better idea of now how to qualify and non-qualify an item and determine if it's a profitable item.